Ashton Kutcher and him they were real tight. One time, me, him, Ashton Kutcher went to a Nets game, and we met Jay-Z there. You know what I'm saying? So they were close. They was.
Wow. Okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So, I can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through the.
Genuinely spinning your hands in the air. Raise your hands above your head. Kaker noticed what appeared to be spilled wine on the floor when he peered out the window. We think that the evidence will now demonstrate that it was blood. The feds seem to be back at it, and this time, Ashton Kutcher's name appeared prominently. Ashton may have recently been arrested as part of the continuing Diddy probe, according to rumors circulating online. Ashton may have been a co-conspirator according to some. To be honest, it would describe a lot. Ashton disappeared after Diddy's case blew out. Not a single random paparazzi photo, no red carpet appearances, and no interviews. Well, I've became friends and used to just hang out and watch football together. Now, the streets are talking, and some people think he's already in.
So, I can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through them. There was one moment, so it's not really a party story, but our relationship was really bizarre. So it started over punked, because he was like, yo,
don't punk
you
me.
can't punk me. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you. Everybody's on the table. He's like, not me, I'm off the table. And so that started our conversation.
Detention. But that's only the beginning, since the skeletons in his closet are virtually hurling themselves out. Ashton's background is being investigated, and it's more chaotic than anyone can recall. He broke into his own school back in high school in order to take money and cheat. He was even hit with a third burglary charge. That is a clear felony. Years later, he was hanging out with Diddy at the infamous white parties. These same parties are now connected to some quite unsettling accusations. This is when things get even more crazy. Recently, old reports that Ashton was apparently seeing Lindsay Lohan at the age of 16. People are already giving him a sidelong glance and speculating that Ashton may be as dubious as Diddy. The timeline clicks rather quickly when you align it. Not to be overlooked are the gloomy clouds enveloping Ashton's ex-girlfriend, Ashley Wren, who sadly departed suddenly. Currently, one of the largest interviews. His account of that evening was never quite right. And just when you think things couldn't.
Now, one of the biggest moments came early when the defense asked the judge to declare a mistrial. The motion rejected. We also heard from a former stylist at Diddy's company. Now, he testified that Diddy threatened to leak sex tapes of her online. He said he saw Diddy beat his friend Cassie and heard him vow to bury her music if she didn't do what he said. The stylist's name is Deontay Nash.
Get any messier? They do. Mila Kunis recently filed for divorce, and rumors have it that she is no longer covering for Ashton. Perhaps this most recent controversy was the last straw. The major questions are now flying. Did the federal government really seize Ashton? Is he a covert accomplice of Diddy? What did Ma discover that caused her to bounce so quickly? The majority of people are unaware that Ashton was never the clean-cut guy that Hollywood exaggerated. He had a record long before he became famous, before that show from the 1970s or the tech deals. Ashton completely broke during his senior year entering his educational institution. To take money and cheat on an exam, not as a practical joke. Yes, he was apprehended, charged with third-degree burglary, and imprisoned. An actual crime. His entire future was ruined by just one action. He lost his ability to vote, his clean record, and his college subsidies. Additionally, he provided particular instances of how
and he gave specific examples of how Diddy used his power over Cassie's career, testifying, quote, Diddy told her that one time if she keeps having a smart-ass mouth, her little mixtape won't be coming out. Nash said Diddy broke a promise to monetize one of Cassie's mixtapes, even though it was a top download when released for free.
How did he interview people become irate? Ashton allegedly paid to have the crime removed from his record once he became wealthy and well-known. In that exact manner, not a trace remains. In that exact manner, expunged the record. Voting rights are supported. The system operates differently when you have money. Ashton then decided to try college at the University of Iowa. However, that was short-lived. He even acknowledged that he was always partying, going out on the town, and getting tossed out of his flat for being too boisterous and careless. In order to pursue a modeling career, he left school, packed everything, and moved to New York. He even had co-workers like Smallville's Tom Welling. However, you discuss Ashley Wren, things go really gloomy. At the time, she was Ashton's girlfriend and a 22-year-old fashion student. Ashton arrived late at her house the night she was brutally abducted. He said he thought the red marks on the floor were simply wine spills when he peered through the glass. What then did he do? He departed. Ashley was discovered inside the same house the following morning. Ashton's story has long been criticized for sounding dubious. For example, who doesn't even check to see whether the person they are visiting is okay when they notice red stains on a carpet and think it's wine? Fans have been ignoring the entire thing for years. Ashley wasn't the only person engrossed in strange conditions. Who else did Ashton have a close relationship with? Murphy Brittany. At the age of 32, she passed away unexpectedly. Anemia and pneumonia are the official causes. Here's the spooky bit though. Just a few months later, Simon Munjak, her husband, passed away from the same cause. Yes, the same reason. It's just too weird to ignore. Fans quickly began making the connections. Both deaths were unexpected, suspicious, and too similar to be considered coincidental. People are now genuinely wondering if there was a deeper issue. And all along was Ashton as filthy as Diddy. Given what we now know, Britney's case is beginning to feel like a blatant cover-up. National notorious white parties, celebrities, models, moguls.
Nash testified that he thinks only about 10%, and he was being generous there, of Cassie's music ever saw the light of day. But while Diddy was allegedly holding back her songs, Nash said Diddy was threatening to expose her sex tapes. He testified about one incident when Diddy pushed Cassie out of her apartment. She and Nash drove away, but then Diddy called and demanded they pull over.
And a plethora of secrets that no one is discussing are all present at these elite all-night parties. Here's the twist, though. It wasn't just Britney who died under odd circumstances. Kim Porter, Diddy's ex-girlfriend and mother of 3 of his children, is also being targeted by fans. In 2018, she passed away. What caused the death? Simon and Britney both had pneumonia. Everything is connected to Diddy. All passed away at a young age. They were all given the same ambiguous explanation. Zoom out now. This is beginning to resemble a pattern. In the midst of it all, Ashton is tied to Diddy in the dark and grinning in the spotlight. According to insiders, Diddy trusted Ashton with secrets as well as business. Not to mention that Ashton and Danny Masterson were close. Yes, that Danny who is currently incarcerated due to heinous actions. You know, if you know? Following the revelation of those connections, Diddy removed Wilmer, Danny Masterson, and Ashton Valderrama into his new Hollywood Rat Pack, his exclusive inner group. However, this was more than just elegant meetings and cigars. These guys were allegedly traveling the world by plane, hosting extravagant parties, manipulating people, and engaging in private activities that were never intended